So yeah, so if everybody wants to find whatever rest looks like for them, whether that's seated Shavasana, modified Shavasana, whatever that is. So good evening, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me virtually once again this week. And as we begin to arrive on our mats this evening, I invite you to take that big cleansing breath in through the nose, filling up all the spaces of your body. And exhale it all out, letting it go. One more time, a nice big inhale in, filling up your belly, your ribs, and your chest. And exhale it all out, letting it go. And just starting to settle in and noticing your breath. How does your breath feel today? With no judgment, just observing. And starting to relax a little bit deeper on our mats. Relaxing the muscles in your face. Unclenching your jaw. Maybe on your next exhalation, letting your shoulders roll back and down just a little bit more. Letting your arms soften on the mat beneath you. Letting your chest become heavy. Letting go of your pelvis and your hips. And releasing all tension and stress from your legs all the way down to your toes. And just staying with your breath for a few more cycles of inhalations and exhalations. And when you are ready to slowly start to wake yourself up, I invite you to find some small, gentle movements. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Perhaps rock your head from side to side if that feels good. You can start to expand your movements, rolling out your wrists and your ankles in both directions if that feels okay. Beautiful. And then on our next breath, reaching our legs out long, arms up overhead, that nice big reach stretch, reaching nice and long through our fingers and our toes. And exhale, letting it go. One more time, a nice inhale, reaching nice and long through our fingers and our toes. And exhale, letting it go. Keeping our arms up overhead, we're going to move our feet just slightly to the left corner of the mat. Arms up over to the left top corner of their mat. So we're almost like a banana here in crescent pose. Stretching out the right side body. If you'd like a little more traction, you can bring your index and thumb around your right wrist and just pulling that just a little bit here. You can also cross your left ankle over your right if that feels good. One more breath into the side body. And then as we exhale, we're going to make our way back to center and just bring our feet over to the right corner of the mat, arms up over to the right top corner of the mat. Again, you can create a little bit of traction, index and thumb around your left wrist. And we can cross our left ankle over our right again. Breathing into the left side body here. Beautiful. We're going to wake our way back to center here. And then as we exhale, hugging our knees towards our chest, holding onto the backs of the thighs at the tops of the shins. You can find movement here, rocking side to side. Perhaps even shoulder to shoulder, kidney to kidney, if that feels good for you. Beautiful. Making our way back to center, we're going to leave our hands on our knees, toes just dangling, drawing circles in this ceiling here in whichever direction you'd like to start with. Beautiful. And then changing the direction. Beautiful. Hugging our right knee, and we're going to let our left leg out long, flexing those left toes just gently towards the face, shoulders back and down, holding onto the top of the shin or the back of the thigh, whatever feels better for you. Releasing some tension in our low back here. And once again, reminding you to listen to your bodies this evening. Do what feels good for you. And remembering I am just a guide on your journey. One more breath in here. And then as we exhale, reaching the right leg out long, flexing the right toes just gently towards our face and hugging that left knee in towards our chest this time. Beautiful. One more breath in. And then on our next inhalation, right knee meets the left knees to chest. One more time. Beautiful. We're going to release our feet to the mat and we're going to find bridge pose. We're going to do that wide leg bridge pose that we did in class a few weeks ago. So feet are going to be to the edges of the mat this time. So it's going to be a wider legged, making sure our knees are pointing straight ahead. Knees are still in alignment with our hips. Palms facing down, rooting into our shoulders, our upper arms, and all four corners of our feet. And our feet can be further away from our body for this position. So we're going to inhale here. And then as we exhale, really rooting into our feet and our upper arms, lifting our hips up towards the sky. Again, checking in that we're not slaying our knees out. Our knees are nice and pointing straight ahead, protecting our low back here. Holding this for a couple of breaths. Starting to engage our glutes here. And then on our exhale, we're going to lift our heels off the mat and we're going to slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. And then when our pelvis reaches the mat, we're going to lower our heels. Again, setting that up, toes pointing straight ahead, knees in alignment with our hips. We're going to inhale up to the sky. And when we reach the top, lifting our heels off the mat. And then exhale, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. And then lowering our heels last. And flowing through this a few more times, knowing that you don't have to lift your heels off the mat if it's just feeling not good for you today. Beautiful. Two more times here. And last time through. Beautiful. Lowering our heels to the mat. We're going to windshield washer that out from side to side. Beautiful. Bringing our knees back to center. We're going to warm up our core in a bit of a different way this week. So we are going to do a crunch, but you don't have to go very high up. But we're going to have our feet in our legs in butterfly position, if I can speak here. So feet together, soles together, knees out to either sides here. And your feet can be further away from your body if that's more comfortable, or closer together. We're going to bring our hands just gently behind our neck here. We're going to inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift our head, our neck, and our shoulders off the mat. And then lower. And just flowing through this a few times. If this is too much for you, I invite you to close your knees. And you can also find your toe taps as well if that's easier for you. And 2 more times here. And then on our last time, lowering down all the way to the mat. We're going to keep our legs in butterfly, and we're going to engage our glutes here before we start. So we're really going to root our low back into the mat, belly button into spine. You can root your hands down, facing down, if that gives you a little more of a push here, a little more stability. And then on our next exhalation, we're going to lift our heels off the mat. Soles still together. Exhale, lower. This is also going to work your lower abdominals there. We're just going to do a couple more of these. Really making sure each time your low back stays on the mat. Once again, you can find toe taps if this is not feeling okay for you. 2 more times. And last time. And then lowering our feet to the mat. We're going to close our legs up like a book, and we're going to hug our knees to our chest one more time. Beautiful. Releasing our feet to the mat, reaching our right or our left arm over our head, rolling over onto our right or our left side body, using our bicep as a pillow. And then on our next breath, pressing through our palm and making our way up into tabletop. So in tabletop, again, remembering fingertips spread nice and wide, wrists underneath our shoulders, knees are underneath our hips here. I have dog hair all over my mat. Making sure our belly button is in our spine. Core is nice and strong here. You want to pretend like you have your glass of wine on your low back, and it's not going to fall because our core is nice and strong. We're really pressing through the palms of our hands here. We're going to inhale through our back body, and then as we exhale, tailbone lifts, belly lowers, heart shining forward into our cow. Exhale, rounding into cat. Inhaling forward to our cow. Exhaling up into cat. And a few more times at your own perfect pace. Once again, inviting any other movement you need in here. Moving organically in the way that your body needs to. And 2 more times through. And the last time. Beautiful. Finding neutral spine when you're finished there. Knees to either or to the edges of the mat. Big toes touch, sitting back on our heels. Walking our hands forward, melting our chest and our forehead to the mat. Child's pose. Once again, remembering child's pose is always available to you should you wish to take it. You can rock your hips from side to side. You can roll out your forehead, whatever feels good here. Beautiful, finding center. And on our next exhalation, we're going to walk our hands out over to the left just a little bit, maybe even off the mat, really rooting our right hip into our right heel. Stretching out the right side body this time. On our next exhalation, bringing our hands back to center and over to the right, just gently here. Left hip rooted down towards our left heel, stretching on our left side body. Beautiful. We're going to bring our hands back to center. We're going to look forward at our hands, pressing through our palms and making our way up into tabletop. Beautiful. Once again, fingertips spread nice and wide here. And then on our next exhalation, we're going to reach our left foot to the back of the mat, keeping our toes just gently on the mat, really pressing through our palms. And we're going to draw rainbows with this left foot. So we're going to bring our left toes over to the right corner of our mat, just gently, and then over to the left, over to the right, and then to the left, trying to make sure that our body stays square to the mat. So you might not have a lot of movement, and that's okay. Just starting to really engage our glute muscles here. And 2 more times. And then the last time through, finding center. We're going to lift that left leg off the mat, parallel to the mat if that feels okay, flexing our toes just gently, pressing through our palms. And then as we exhale, rounding and bringing that knee towards our chest and bringing that foot between our hands. Once again, hand to heel if we get stuck. Rising up into our low lunge here. If it feels okay, you can walk that left foot out a little bit more, stretching out our right hip flexor. On our exhalation, we're going to twist open to the left. Beautiful. And then our left hand is going to go by our right leg, right arm reaches up. A reverse exaltation here. We're going to exhale back. We're going to place our right hand, right wrist underneath our right shoulder, twisting open to the left. And if it feels okay, you can tuck those right toes, lifting that right knee off the mat. If our right knee is lifted, we're going to lower that down. We're going to untuck our toes, bringing that left hand around, and then right knee meets, or left knee meets right into our tabletop. You can find a little bit of movement here before we go to the other side, whatever you need here. Beautiful. Once again, setting up under that neutral spine tabletop here, fingertips spread nice and wide. We're going to reach our right toes to the back of the mat this time, just gently on the mat. And we're going to draw those rainbows on this side. So we're going to bring our toes to the left corner of the mat and then over to the right. Really trying to isolate our glute muscles here. Making sure that it's the glutes that are working and not our low back. And 2 more times. And the last time through. Bringing those right toes back to center, lifting that right leg off the mat, flexing our toes just gently here. And then as we exhale, rounding a knee towards our chest, bringing that foot between our hands and rising up. Once again, you can walk out that right foot if you want. Stretching out our left hip flexor this time. And then as we exhale, we're going to twist open to the right. And then as we exhale again, right hand down, left arm reaching up. We're going to bring this left wrist underneath our left shoulder, right arm up, twisting lunge here. And if it feels okay, you can tuck those right toes or left toes, lifting that left knee off the mat. If our knee is lifted, we're going to lower that down, circling this right arm down, right knee meets left, tabletop. Once again, finding a little bit of movement. And then on our next breath, we're going to tuck our toes, lifting our hips up and back, finding our downward facing dog. Again, spine is nice and tall, knees are as bent as we need them to be. Make sure our sit bones are reaching high to the sky, really pressing through our palms, pressing our chest towards our thighs here. You can pedal this out. You can find a little bit of movement. You can rock your hips from side to side. Beautiful. And then we're going to hold this for a couple of breaths. And then on our next breath, we're going to bend our knees, walk our feet to the top of the mat, Finding that forward fold. Really rooting our torso on the top of our thighs here. Again, you can find movement if you like, or you can find stillness. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, flat back, hands on shins or thighs, crown of the head reaching forward, sits bones reach into the back of the mat. Exhale, bending our knees, forward fold. We're going to inhale, rising all the way up to the sky. And exhaling to mountain. Beautiful, taking a couple sun breaths here, inhaling up to the sky. Exhale, hinging at our hips, bending our knees, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. Exhaling, mountain. One more time, inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. And exhaling to mountain. And now we flow, gentle to start, inhaling all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, left foot to the back of the mat, lowering that left knee. You can untuck your toes, rising up. Exhale, folding forward, right knee meets left, finding our child's pose. Inhaling forward like a wave to our kneeling plank, shoulders are over our wrists, belly button into spine. Exhale, elbows into ribs, lowering all the way down. Rooting into our pelvic bone and tops of our feet, inhaling up into baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Pressing up and back, finding our child's pose. Inhaling forward to our tabletop, right foot between our hands, hand to heel if we get stuck, rising up. Exhale, folding forward, tucking those right toes, bending that, or left toes, bending that knee, left foot meets right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. And exhaling into mountain. We're gonna save our chair for later. Inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, right foot to the back of the mat. This time you can lower that knee and tuck your toes, rising up. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hands, left knee meets right, finding our child's pose. Inhaling forward like a wave to our plank. Shoulders over wrists, elbows into ribs, all the way down to the mat. Inhaling up, baby cobra. Exhale, lower, pressing up and back, child's pose. Inhaling forward to tabletop, left foot between our hands this time, hand to heel if we get stuck, rising up. Exhale, folding forward, tucking those right toes, bending that knee, right foot meets left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down to rise up to the sky. Exhaling into mountain. Adding on if you like, inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, stepping our left foot back to the back of the mat. Rising up, right knee over our ankle, crescent lunge or low lunge. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hands, right foot meets left, downward facing dog. Inhaling forward like a wave to our plank or kneeling plank, shoulders over wrists. Exhaling halfway or all the way down to the mat. Upward facing dog or cobra. Back to downward facing dog or child's pose. Inhaling our right leg to the sky. Right foot between our hands. Again, hand to heel if we get stuck. Rising up. Beautiful, folding forward, bending that left knee, left foot meets right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. Exhaling, mountain. One more time, inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, right foot back this time. High on the ball mound of that foot or lowering that knee, rising up. Beautiful. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hands, left foot meets right, downward facing dog. Inhaling forward like that wave to plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, lowering all the way or halfway, upward facing dog or cobra. Back to downward facing dog or child's pose. Inhaling our left leg to the sky, left foot between our hands, rising up. Beautiful. Exhale, folding forward, bending that right knee, right foot meets left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down to rise up. And exhaling to mountain. Beautiful. You can grab a sip of water if you like before we move on. All right. So starting at the top of our mats in mountain pose, we're going to roll our shoulders back and down, palms facing forward, ready to receive. Catching our breath for a moment here. We're going to inhale all the way up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands and stepping back to our downward facing dog. Beautiful. We're going to inhale our right leg to the sky. And then we're just going to do some toe taps here. So we're going to lower our toes. If they reach the mat, that's good. If they don't, that's okay too. Just a few times here. Making sure it's just our leg that's moving. And the last time. Beautiful. And then our next exhalation, bringing that foot between our hands, hand to heel if we get stuck. Rising up. Crescent lunge. Just for a breath. We're going to exhale, fold forward, plant our hands, right foot meets left, downward facing dog. You can pedal that out. You can move around. We're going to do it on the other side. So we're going to exhale our left leg to the sky this time. And we're going to tap our left toes. And one more time. Then we're going to lift that left leg up to the sky, and then we're going to bring that left foot between our hands. Again, hand to heel if we get stuck. Rising up. We're going to exhale, fold forward, plant our hands, bend that right knee, right foot meets left, forward fold. Once again, you can find a little bit of movement before we rise up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending our knees, reaching up to the sky. And exhaling to mountain. All right, now we're going to do a fun flow. So we're going to need your block at the front of the mat. So we are going to end the flow. Well, not quite end it, but we are going to do balancing half foot, half moon, partway through it. So we're going to start in chair. So again, big toes touch, heels a sliver apart. If that's not the most comfortable for you, I invite you to bring your feet about a fist or 2 fist distance apart. Doing what feels good for your body. So we're going to inhale here, hands at heart center. Inhale, creating length. Exhale, dropping our hips into that imaginary chair. And we don't have to go that far down here. Checking in, toes in front of our knees. Really pressing into our palms, creating a little bit of dynamic tension here. Beautiful. And now we're going to root into that right foot. And as we exhale, we're going to reach the left foot back, just tapping almost in a lunge. And then we're going to bring that foot forward again. We're going to do this a couple times. Exhaling back, really rooting into our right leg here, using all of our stabilizer muscles as well. Belly button into spine. You're also using a lot of core here. 2 more. And then on the last one, we're gonna reach it back to a crescent lunge. Beautiful. We're gonna keep our hands at heart center. Perhaps find a little bit of a closer legged lunge here. We're gonna find those rainbows that we did at the start. So again, really rooting into our right foot. We're gonna bring our left foot toes over to the right, and then the left. To the right, and to the left. And you should feel your glutes start yelling at me right about now. 2 more times. And then we're gonna make it back into a crescent lunge. So last time here. And then reaching that left foot back, crescent lunge. All right, don't hate these too much. We're gonna inhale here to create some length. And then as we exhale, we're gonna lower that left knee towards the mat. Right knee is over our ankle. Exhale, lift. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Only 2 more. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Last time through. And rising up out of that. We can reach our arms up to the sky. And then on our exhalation, we're gonna open up to warrior 2. It almost feels good. Right palm reaches up, a little reach forward, exalting our warrior here. Exhaling back to warrior 2. We're gonna straighten this right leg, kicking out our left hip, reaching forward, toppling into triangle. Beautiful, exhaling back to our warrior 2. Left hand on our left hip, we're gonna heel toe in that left foot. And we're gonna reach forward for our block. Right wrist underneath our right shoulder. Left leg extending, left toes flex towards our face, opening up to the left. And then that left arm can extend if that feels okay. Balancing half moon. And then we're gonna, on our exhalation, make our way back. Warrior 2. Right palm reaches up a little, reach forward, exalting our warrior 1 more time. Exhaling forward, we're gonna cartwheel our arms. Pivot that left foot, bend that left knee, left foot meets right, forward fold. Again, you can find a little bit of movement here. We're gonna inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending our knees, reaching up to the sky. And exhaling to mountain. And because I know you love that so much, we're gonna do it on the other side. It's not as fun when I can't see your facial expressions. All right, so starting at the top of our mat again, in our chair pose. Again, feet, our big toes touch heels a sliver apart, or a little bit further apart, whatever feels good for you. Hands at heart center, inhale to create a little bit of length. And then as we exhale, lowering our hips here. Toes in front of our knees, belly button into spine. Pressing our palms together, creating a little bit of tension. Really rooting into that left foot, and we're gonna reach the right toes back and then forward. Back and forward. Once again, really using our stabilizer muscles here. 2 more times. And last time through here, and then reaching that back, finding our crescent lunge a little bit closer together to do those rainbows on this side. So once again, rooting into that left foot, right toes to the left, and then over to the right. Left and right. Left, right. And 2 more times. Last time through. Beautiful, and then reaching that back to crescent lunge. 1 more time, pressing our palms together. And then as we exhale, lowering that right knee down to the mat in a lunge. Left knee is over our ankle, straightening. Exhale down, inhale to straighten. 2 more times, that's it. Inhaling down, exhale, straighten. Last time through, exhaling to straighten. Rising our arms up to the sky if that feels okay. And then as we exhale, opening up to that warrior 2, heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Left palm reaches up a little, reach forward. Exalting our warrior here. Exhaling back to warrior two, straightening that left leg. Really kicking out this right hip, toppling triangle. Beautiful, lunging into that left leg, finding our warrior two, hand on our right hip. Heel toeing in that right foot, and then reaching forward towards our block, left wrist underneath our left shoulder. Not as stable on this side, right toes towards our face, reaching that right arm up to the sky if that feels okay. Holding for one more breath, and then lunging into that front knee, stepping back, warrior two. Exalting one more time, left palm reaches up a little, reach forward, exalting our warrior. Beautiful, inhaling back to warrior two, cartwheeling our arms, pivoting that right foot, bending that right knee, right foot meets left, forward fold. You can also heel toe out a little bit in this forward fold, finding a little bit of movement. Beautiful, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending our knees, reaching up to the sky. And exhaling to mountain. Beautiful. If you need a sip of water, go for it. All right. So starting at the top of our mat again. Once again, you can roll your shoulders back and down if you need to. And on our next exhalation, reaching that left foot back, finding warrior one. Right knee is over our right ankle, left toes on that 45-degree angle, hips square to the front of the mat, arms all the way up at heart center on your hips. Slowing down here. Shoulders back and down. Beautiful, hands down to heart center, heel toeing out, finding warrior two again. Heel to heel or heel to arch alignment, arms forward and back. Beautiful, we're gonna bend our right arm, placing it on the top of our thigh. We're gonna find supported side angle first. So we're gonna circle this left arm around, opening up. And we're gonna circle our left arm around a couple more times, really opening up that left shoulder here. One more time in this direction. And then changing the direction if that feels okay for you. Reaching forward. And the last time. And then holding our supported side angle. You can go into full side angle if you'd like. Pressing your elbow into knee, knee into elbow. Beautiful, rising up to our warrior two. We're gonna pivot that left foot, circling this left arm around, finding crescent lunge just for a breath. We're gonna exhale, fold forward, plant our hands. We're gonna bring that left foot in, finding our pyramid pose. So that short stance warrior one, left toes on a 45-degree angle. Both legs are straight, but slight micro bend in that right knee. Inhale, finding our halfway lift. And then if it feels good, exhale, rolling down, forehead to knee. Beautiful, just stretching that out. And then on our next breath, we're gonna lunge, just slightly softening that right knee, walking our hands out forward, finding that tripod, lifting this left leg to the sky, standing split. And then because I heard someone love this so much, we're gonna do those curtsy lunges again. So we're gonna lunge into the front knee, bringing our left knee behind our right shin. And then exhale, rising up. 2 more times. Bringing that left knee behind our right shin. Rising up. Last time. And rising up. Holding this for just a breath or two. Hold it, hold it. And then bringing that left foot to meet the right. Forward fold. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up to the sky. And exhaling, mountain. Beautiful, trying that on the other side. So starting in our mountain pose here. Hands can start at heart center if you like. We're going to exhale our right foot back, finding warrior one on this side. Left knee over our ankle. Arms in whatever variation you would like. Shoulders back and down. Beautiful. Inhaling our hands down through heart center. Heel toeing out this right foot, finding that warrior two, heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. And we're going to bend that left arm, placing it on the top of our thigh, circling this right arm around, opening up. And then circling a couple more times in this direction, really opening up that right shoulder. One more time in this direction. And then changing the direction if that feels okay. And one more time here. And then holding that side angle again. You can reach that left arm towards the ground, just making sure that we're one long line of energy from our heel or right heel to the crown of our head here. Beautiful. Exhaling back. Warrior two. Pivoting that right foot, circling this right arm around. Crescent lunge. Exhale, folding forward, bringing that right foot in, finding that pyramid pose on this side. Right toes in a 45-degree angle. Legs are straight, halfway lift. Slight micro bend in our left knee. And then if it feels good, rounding in, forehead to knee. Beautiful. We're going to soften that left knee, walking our hands out forward, finding that tripod, really cupping our fingertips here, lifting that right leg to the sky. And then as we exhale, lunging into that left knee, right knee behind our left shin, exhale, lift. Inhale, lunging, exhale, lift. One more time. Exhale, lift, hold it, hold it, hold it. And then exhaling our right foot to meet our left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. And exhaling to mountain. Beautiful. We're going to find standing pigeon tonight as our balance pose. So, starting in a gentle mountain here. We're going to root into our left foot to start. So hands going to be at heart center. Beautiful. And we're just going to lower ourselves into a tiny bit of a chair. And then we're going to cross our right ankle above our left knee. Right toes are flexed. Externally rotating out this left knee. So pressing this left knee to the back of the room. And then if it feels good, we're going to lower our hips here to wherever feels good for you. Making sure our left toes are in front of our knee, just like we were in chair, but you should be able to feel a nice stretch in the right side here. Belly button into spine. Holding for one more breath. And then exhale, rising up out of that, uncrossing our legs. You can shake that out. And then finding that on the other side. So rooting into the right foot this time. We're going to exhale, lower into a tiny chair, crossing our left ankle above that right knee, flexing those left toes, really pressing that left knee to the back of the room. And then if it feels okay, lowering our hips here. Holding for a couple more breaths. And then exhale, rising up out of that. Again, you can shake that out. Beautiful. We're going to make our way to our mountain pose. We're going to inhale up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, stepping back into our tabletop. And we're going to lower all the way down onto our bellies. And we're going to find our locust pose tonight. So forehead to the mat, arms on either side of our body,
palms facing in. We're really going to root into our pelvic or pubic bone here. That's going to be your anchor. So we're going to inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to lift our shoulders and our legs off the mat, reaching our fingertips towards the back of the mat here. And if it doesn't feel okay, you can lower your legs, or you can keep your head lowered as well. Holding for a couple more breaths. And then on our next exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. We're going to bring our hands beside our ribs, pressing up and back into a closed leg child's pose. Starting to let go here. And then on our next exhalation, we're going to rise up into our tabletop. Now we are going to make our way into pigeon. So if pigeon is not in your practice, I do invite you to make your way to your back, finding your figure 4 stretch. If you'd like to try or if you want to do pigeon tonight, fingertips spread nice and wide, tucking our toes, lifting our hips up and back, downward facing dog. We're going to inhale our right leg to the sky, bringing that right knee towards our right wrist, right ankle towards our left wrist, right toes are flexed here. Walking that left hip back, really settling into our hips. You've done a lot of glute work, so you might not be able to get as low or as settled yet until things start to relax. You can place that block underneath your right hip if there's a lot of space. And then only when it feels good, walking down, finding sleeping swan. And holding this for a few breaths. Beautiful. On our next exhale, we're slowly going to walk up out of that. If you are in your figure 4 stretch, I invite you to uncross your legs. You can windshield washer from side to side. If we're in pigeon, we're going to tuck our left toes, lifting our hips up and back, downward facing dog, pedaling that out. And then finding that on the left or the other side of the left leg, reaching high, left knee towards our left elbow, left ankle towards our right wrist, walking that right hip back. Really settling in here. Once again, you can use your props underneath your left hip. And then only when it feels good, walking down. Making sure those left toes are flexed to protect the knee. Beautiful. On our next breath, we're slowly going to walk up out of that. If we are in our figure 4, I invite you to uncross your legs, windshield washer that out. If we're in pigeon, tucking our right toes, lifting our hips up and back, downward facing dog, pedaling this out. Then we're going to lower our knees to the mat. If we're on our back, we're going to safely rise up into a seated position. Legs stretched out to the front here. Fleshy bits away. We're going to inhale up to the sky. And then as we exhale, really reaching through those fingertips before we're rounding in. Letting gravity settle in here. And then on our next breath, rising up out of that. We're going to find butterfly again. Bringing our soles to touch, knees up to either side of our body. Bringing our heels wherever it's comfortable for us. We're going to inhale, creating length, really reaching tall through our spine. And then as we exhale, rounding in. We're going to exhale up out of that. We're going to bring our legs in like a V or a split, whatever is comfortable for you. Toes gently flex towards our face. Once again, spine is nice and tall, really rooting into our sits bones. And then we're just going to finger walk out to wherever is most comfortable for you. Perhaps your forearms come to the mat. Maybe you can go all the way down, wherever. Just really stretching out the inner thighs here. And then as we exhale, rising up out of that, we're going to close our legs up and we're going to make our way down to the mat safely, bringing the block with us here. So making our way to the middle of the mat, hugging in one knee and then the other knees towards our chest. Again, you can find a little bit of movement. Beautiful. We're going to lower our feet to the mat. And we're going to find almost a figure four stretch. So arms can be in cactus or T. We're going to cross our right ankle below our left knee. Right toes can be just gently flexed. And then as we exhale, we're going to drop that left knee and that right foot over to the left here. If your feet don't all the way make it, you can put a block there as well. Looking straight ahead or out over to the right. Beautiful. We're going to inhale our legs back to center. We're going to uncross them here, and you can windshield washer that out if you like. And we're going to find that gentle twist on the other side. So left ankle below our right knee, left toes gently flexed. And on our next exhale, dropping our knees and that left foot towards the right. Again, looking straight ahead or out over to the left, whatever feels good. We're going to inhale our legs back to center. We're going to uncross them. And we're going to windshield washer that out one more time if that feels good. Beautiful. We're going to find happy baby pose to really stretch everything out here. So we're going to bring our knees towards our chest to start. Letting our knees just fall out towards our armpits. And if this feels good, you can stay here. If you want to go into full happy baby, we're going to reach our hands to the inner sides of our legs, holding onto the outsides of our soles. Feet to the sky, pressing our hands into feet, feet into hands. Tailbone really rooted on the mat here, so we're not rounding. Find a little bit of movement.
Beautiful. We're going to bring our heels towards our bum, closing our knees up and releasing our feet to the mat. We're going to find our block. We're going to lift our hips up just gently, bringing that block on its lowest setting underneath our sacrum, that triangular bone there on the base of our spine. And then we're going to let our hips settle here. Now, if this feels good for you, you can stay here in supported bridge. If you'd like, you can lift one knee and then the other, bringing our legs towards the sky, supported legs up the wall. Really releasing everything here and finding your breath for a few moments. Beautiful. We're going to slowly make our way out of that, bending one knee and then the other. Placing our feet on the mat. Lifting our hips up gently, releasing our prop. Lowering our hips down, feet out to either corners of the mat. Arms on either side of our body, palms facing up. Final resting pose, Shavasana. And I invite you to take a deep breath in through the nose, filling up all the spaces in your body. And exhale, sigh it all out, letting it go. And just staying here with your breath for a few moments. Allowing me to hold this space for you until it's time to call you back. And when you're ready to slowly start to bring yourself back, I invite you to start with some small, gentle movements, wiggling your fingers and your toes, perhaps rocking your head from side to side, and then starting to expand those movements when you feel ready, rolling out your wrists and your ankles. And then finding any other movement that your body craves here. Maybe a knees to chest or a big hug, big reach stretch. And in your next few breaths, I invite you to bend your knees, placing your feet on the mat, reaching your right or your left arm over your head and rolling over onto your right or your left side body. Taking a beautiful last breath there.
And then in your own time, pressing through your palm and making your way up into gentle seated lotus pose, whatever that looks like for you. Beautiful. And then ending with one last breath in unison here. We're going to inhale our arms up to the sky. And exhaling all the way down through heart center. Thank you so much for joining me once again this week. And have a really beautiful, happy new year. The love and the light in me truly sees and honors the love and the light in each of you. Namaste.
Thanks, Laura. Happy New Year.
You too.
Thanks, Laura. Happy New Year to everybody.
You too.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys. See you next week.
Look forward to it.